What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, I think for a while now, the whole community has been trying to figure out who is to blame for the direction that gaming is taking right now. Is it the publisher's fault or is it the developer's fault? The past games that we have been getting in the Call of Duty community, the Battlefield community, pretty much any community out there, usually are releasing broken and a mess, no content, live service disasters, so on and so forth, etc., etc. You get the whole idea. If you've been playing gaming in the past 5+ years, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. And like I said, I think we're torn because a lot of people put the blame on the developers. A lot of people put the blame on the publishers. Me personally, I try to split it 50-50 and I try to be as open-minded as possible and try to put myself in their shoes, try to be realistic about certain situations. Would a developer of a low caliber be able to do this type of deal, or is it something that management would have a control over? That's how I try to put into perspective. But at the end of the day, the developers are to blame for some of the implementations in these games still. But after a long time, I finally think it's official. Who is to blame for the destruction of all of these franchises? Now, again, like I said, a lot of people are going to want to blame the developers still, and I understand where you guys are coming from. But really, it comes down to the publisher. You can see right here, Marcus Leto, one of the absolute GOATs who is working on the Battlefield franchise right now. I told you guys to actually go ahead and check this man out as well. Said, hey, Battlefield, work has been a whirlwind this holiday season. So many big decisions and so many new hires for us. I'm glad hiring has accelerated because we have a lot to build. And Danny on PC actually went ahead and responded to Marcus by saying, shows them all if I can keep a secret. And I agree, show us a little bit of that sauce that we want so bad when it comes to Battlefield. But sadly, Marcus responds, like I said, giving us a little bit more proof behind the scenes. Seriously, I wish we could show what we are doing. Even in this early stage, it would be so helpful to get feedback. Exactly. I've been saying this for ages now. A lot of people in the YouTube community have been saying this for ages now. But pretty much every game out there, Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever your favorite title is, would release 10 trillion times better if they would include the community before the game launches during the main development phase, when they're building the foundation. Imagine if we were there with Battlefield 2042 from day one, when they were starting to think of specialists and they were starting to think of all this crazy crap. Imagine if the community was there instead of coming in when the game finally launched. Do you know how drastically different Battlefield 2042 would be? But like I said, this is proof to me personally that it goes further than just development, and it's not just Battlefield. This transfers over to Call of Duty as well. Now, of course, we can blame high-up management from these development teams because pretty much high-up management is just as equal, if not equal to, the publishers, Activision, EA, people who work for them and stuff of that sort. They are the ones to blame. They will not allow the community, any communities, to come in and help with the production of these games. It really makes me think, is this why indie games always turn out 10 trillion times better than any AAA title? Is it because they don't have a publisher over them telling them who to talk to and who not to talk to? Because pretty much every indie game that I have ever played starts off with allowing the community in day one. The community is a part of the whole process from the foundation. Well, not the foundation, because clearly the developers have a passion, they have an artistic vision, and they have a direction they want to push with it. But when it comes to building up the foundation, of this idea they have, this concept, starting with the community and allowing them to give input on how this game would improve, especially if you are a franchise that's been going on for a long time, listening to your OG fans might be some of the best stuff that you could do. But like I said, indie development teams, they don't have to worry about a publisher. Some of them do have people who, give millions of dollars to them to fund their game and stuff of that sort. But the majority of these indie developed games start from the absolute bottom and they build it up on their own. And the reason that these small games, these games that nobody knows about, can succeed and thrive and stay popular in their own little realm is because they allowed the community to help out since day one. So guess what? Since they helped out from day one, they love the game because they have been a part of it. Their critique, their ideas have all been, involved with the development of whatever indie game that they are a part of, and they want to stay through the whole ride. They feel almost just as involved as the developers do, especially about a project that they're very passionate about. Not only will it improve the overall game itself, but it will improve, basically, your relationship with your community. When I sit down and think of games like Insurgency Sandstorm, maybe Squad or Hell Let Loose, a game like Splitgate, two things that these games and plenty of other indie games all share are exactly what I just said. They have a perfect, connection with their community. They're always communicating with them. They're always discussing stuff with them, and they allow them to see the process of the game. They even have test servers for their game to allow players to test out new content before it even gets launched into the main game. But like I said, not only do they have a good relationship, but the game is solid. It's strong. A lot of these indie developed games have been going on for years and years and years and years without making another one and another one, milking the whole franchise. They've been able to just hold on to one, maybe two games. That's it. And the community stays alive forever. And like I said, we're not talking about Call of Duty numbers where we're pulling in 100,000 plus people all the time, or Battlefield numbers, back in the day, I guess. I shouldn't say Battlefield 2042 numbers, but you get the whole point that I'm trying to say here. Comparing indie numbers to AAA numbers makes absolutely no sense, but the dedicated fan base, it's still there, and it's there for a reason. Now, I do understand that maybe the publishers might not want to showcase off the game because obviously they want to keep it a surprise. If everybody and their mother knows exactly what's coming out, then word of mouth is going to start spreading. Everybody's going to know what the next Call of Duty game, everybody's going to know what's going to be happening. I understand trying to keep some type of surprise element, but there's ways of being able to manage this. Not only should you communicate with your community more often in the prime of its game, because I'll be honest, these development teams, like I said, I think it's just management. I really do, because I think the lower end developers want to see success for this franchise. I mean, who else is leaking this stuff out to the leakers? It has to be either data miners or, once again, the developers who work for the team that aren't upper management. But as I was saying, not only should they focus on the prime of the game, but also they need to focus on it before the launch of the game. And if they don't want to do it too early, that's fine. I understand keeping it a surprise. You're a AAA game now. You have a massive budget. You have these big sales, these big launches. You want to make sure people are excited, but at the same time, you launch the name, the title, the theme. Everybody knows these things, and there's still 4, 5, 6, 7 months left until the game is launched. During this time, not only could the developers open up some type of a test server that doesn't even have to be the game itself, just, test out certain fundamentals. It could be on the current game that's out. If we're testing out features for the next Black Ops game, they could easily open up a test server in Modern Warfare 2 here and just literally put those features in this game. It's not supposed to be there. It doesn't make any sense, but at least the community can test these things out. They could try them, and they can give their legitimate feedback on this stuff to make sure you guys have enough time ahead of schedule to balance it all out. And it's not only going to be, the hardcore diehard fans. Casuals will be able to get into the experience as well. Everybody will be able to give their input, and they can get some real stats off of this stuff. And even before that, just like the Battlefield developers, Marcus Leto, David, who just came back to help out with the production of Battlefield 2042 and also the next Battlefield game, they are constantly asking questions about what we like out of previous Battlefield games. Just because you can't showcase what the game looks like doesn't mean you can't talk to us about what will be nice, what features will be cool. Just dabble, mess around in our minds and see what we are thinking. That's what you should be doing, a year plus ahead of launch, and again, all of this stuff doesn't even have to expose what you're making. You could be making a jetpack, COD that's the same time period as Infinite Warfare, and we could all think it's Modern Warfare 3. We could all think it's a modern-day boots-on-the-ground game. We would have no clue. You just have to word your questions correctly. And just in general, ask basic questions, like the perk system. We would have no clue Modern Warfare 2 is coming out if an Infinity Ward developer said, what do you think about this type of perk system or something like that? What, are we supposed to know what type of perks are in the game? You're not going to expose what perks. You're not going to expose the time period. You're not going to expose the name or the theme. You're not going to expose anything revealing, a cool concept. You are a developer on Twitter. Activision doesn't even have to know that this is something. You could just literally be asking a basic question about how these things work and just collecting feedback, collecting data from your community. It really is as simple as that. And I hope that these publishers will allow these developers to go ahead and do that. Because like I said, it doesn't come down to the developers. It's upper management, and it is the publishers that will not allow these individuals to showcase anything. And again, I shouldn't say it's just upper management. Maybe it's upper management in Call of Duty. But as you see here, Marcus is upper management. He would love to showcase. But again, he's being held back by who? The publishers. And the same thing goes for Call of Duty as well. You have 3,000 developers for Modern Warfare 2, but if each and every one of them is being held back and not allowed to do anything, we're going to be missing a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be no content in the game. There's going to be some bugs and glitches. There's going to be some performance problems for people. There's going to be issues if the publishers don't allow the creative developers to do their job. You go to school for 4+ years to, expand your creative mind, to be able to get those ideas out in the world and into, products to share with the, everybody. That's what you go to school all of those years for. You grind so hard to get that job, and then you finally get it. And all of your creative freedom is basically stripped from you, and you're being basically programmed like a robot to do exactly as Activision says, step by step, with no other way of working around it. I mean, I really do think this is why a lot of these games turn out different than they did back in the day, because it lacks a lot of the passion. But that's a little aside of the point. The point of the video is that publishers are to blame. We always go 50-50. We always, can't understand who we should blame. Is it the developers? Is it the publishers? Is it Activision? Is it Infinity Ward? Is it DICE? Is it EA? Who's messing up when it comes to current games? And it seems like it's the publishers, because they don't want the community to be a part of the process. The only thing they want is to surprise us because they want money. It turns into exactly what I've been talking about. Gaming is now a business. It used to be about passion. It used to be about creativity. It used to be about the love for the project. But the publishers don't care. You know what I'm saying? The only thing they care about is the dollar bill, and they know. The least they know about the game, the better it is that they're going to get more money from them. And that's exactly how they're handling it. They're making sure that their developers, the people who are working for them, have the least help possible to make a perfect project, just so everybody can be shocked and surprised. And they don't even have to, like I said, expose the game, because even back in the day, they wouldn't expose the game. It was still a thrill factor. It was still excitement when a new game launched. We didn't know what it was. But like I said, the developers, I feel like, had more freedom. They were able to discuss. They were able to talk. They were able to expand on their own ideas instead of fitting to a tight schedule from upper management, and then obviously the publishers up top. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me this too. We do still have a Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Links in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.